Hey, Kathy.
I was just looking for you. You weren't popping up for some reason.
Oh, maybe I turned my invites off. I don't know.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. Hold on. Let me get rid of the static.
Oh,
Perfect.
awesome.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. I've been trying to go like live earlier in the daytime, and I feel like it just starts. It's such a better vibe right now. You don't feel as
Yeah.
tired. It's
No, I
great.
know. Oh my gosh, your sleep schedule must have been wrecked before. I don't know how you did that.
I mean, it's still pretty wrecked, but like I went to sleep. I got off live before midnight last night. Went to sleep by 2, and that was like, man, game changer.
When do you wake up,
Yeah.
usually?
I wake up. I usually start my day around 10. Say calls starting around 10. Mm-hmm.
So you wake up at 10?
So I don't sleep
Like, wait, when do
like
you
barely.
usually, when did you used to go to sleep? Like when you were going hard at night, every single night?
Oh, you mean like like the pushes or during like the holiday, the live festival? Marcelo, Mass Mystery, hello. Um, like 6, 5 or 6, 5 was an average time, I'd say, 5 a.m. Then
Okay,
I'd
so
wake up by 9, be up and ready and rolling by 10. It starts to wear on you for sure. You get
yeah.
it. I know you those we all go through like phases, I guess. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, guys, this is Gabriella Gomez. She's a live pro, and today we're interviewing her. So we are gonna do battles throughout the interview, and then we will end the interview with toxic question battles. But for now, we're just gonna be like passively running battles. Hopefully, we can put up some points to compete because she is a live pro. But yeah, so let's just start with that and then we can get into it. How does that sound?
Let's do it. What
Okay,
you thinking?
okay, this is how I want to start this. So you have met so many big names. Um, I want you to pretend like this is a job interview and you're like telling me like your experiences with social media and like you're like selling yourself to me right now. Because I want to know like your background with all that. So
Sure.
yeah.
Sure. I can summarize my career path for you. Basically, I've been many different versions of a marketer. Brand marketing has been my background for the past 10, 15 years. Started in PR, worked in social media apps, but really found my lane when I started realizing that there was this thing called an social media influencer that was emerging 10 years ago. Um, and really was able to translate what a creator was talking about and what an influencer, that we know that term now, but 10 years ago that wasn't even a term. When an influencer or celebrity or whomever was their perspective versus a brand perspective, and I was able to translate both and have them meet in the middle. So in the middleman between those two worlds for the past 10 years and a storyteller on top of that. So I come with creative ideas as well. So that would be my short answer for that. Long answer is I've been a brand marketer, worked at the top of the game, was at Beats by Dre when I first started, worked with the best in business, guys, Two More Roses. Um, uh, sorry, Two More Roses, guys. Hello.
Beats by Dre.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
That's what you were
Beats by
marketing
Dre is
for?
where I started. The headphone company before Apple bought them. So that's how I got my start in marketing. I had a huge exposure there, amazing exposure to some of the best in the business, like without a doubt, the best in the business, and got a different. I cut my teeth in a different way than a lot of marketers. A lot of marketers go through the system where they haven't they go through the system, if you will. There's a proper way to do things. We do this system. This is it. This is how we market things. Very clear cut answers versus let's go and create our own path because we don't like this path or that we don't know this path. So I got a very untraditional way kickstart to my marketing career and
Yeah,
was
it
able to
almost
use that
sounds
to think about things differently. Hmm.
Yeah, it almost sounds like you kind of started in the midst of, I want to say, like the influencer revolution is what I want to call it or whatever. Like with technology shifting to be like live streaming and like influencer focus, like social media has completely transformed um, the way that marketing happens. So it almost sounds like you started right in the middle of that, which is almost like a perfect time to start.
At the
So do you,
beginning of it, actually. So I've sat on panels of discussion, like big name panel discussions around this topic of influencer marketing because I was there at a pivotal point where it was starting. We called them bloggers back in the day. They were YouTubers. They weren't taken seriously. And to timestamp this correctly, The Rock was considered a digital or YouTube types influencer, not a celebrity. Thank you guys.
really?
Um,
Wow.
he was not considered in the world that I was working at the time. So say Beats by Dre, he was not necessarily in the celebrity or the megastar category. He was in a social bucket that was questionable and wasn't seen as valuable yet, which is crazy. So I was sliding him headphones on the side, going, "Hey, let me upgrade
Wow.
your gear at the gym because you were broken headphones. Like that's crazy." I met him at the gym once, and I was like, let me fix this." So I'd slide him headphones and his team headphones that everybody was laced up, and um, found a way to like make sure that those people were taken care of. But there's a lot of people that on this app even that I started going live with that know me from that world too, because I brought them into Beats as some of the first people on Vine to be part of a campaign about 10 years ago. They were trying to do a digital extension to this campaign that was pretty high priority for Apple and Beats. And they looked to me because I had the Rolodex and the connections of people because I'd just been tapped in and stayed tapped in even when my bosses were telling me not to. I still just stayed focused on it. They don't have love. Might as well stay focused on that all. Yeah, it was a pivotal point, huge point of pop culture, of marketing culture, of how we see brands.
Ooh.
Ram. Leon, thank you. Well, let me thank everybody.
Robin, Jennifer, Marla, Kathy,
MVP.
Wendy, Tyler.
MVP S. Backstrom. Thank you, S. Backstrom. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Emily, Milfman, Savage Amanda, Just Jill, and everyone tap my face. Thank you. We're going to continue this conversation, guys. I hope you guys are liking it. Keep the chat moving and stay focused on the battle for us, please, and thank you.
Yes, guys, chat. We are right now relying on you guys for the battles and for the chat. So, yeah,
We
we just
love
want
these
to focus
quality
on the
conversations.
resources.
Are like this is the good stuff for us, and I hope that it's valuable to you guys too. You guys get to learn a little bit more about each of us during these series. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you guys for playing.
Okay, so would you consider like the role that you played in advertising for Beats by Dre to be something that was almost like monumental? I mean, what was your title? Because like going
I had
after.
no title. I had no title. I was the lowest man on the totem pole, is the best way I could describe it. I was the youngest. I was the no title, no job description. I started as an intern, quickly turned into a marketing assistant or like like just doer, just do it. Like I had no role, but I was able to play all the roles or get into all the roles, if that makes sense. So I could go shadow somebody at a meeting. Hey, can I sit on this meeting? Can I just absorb the knowledge? And that's something that I find invaluable is I got to sit in on some epic, powerful meetings and just take notes. Hand over my notes after, like, let me just come take notes for you. Let me absorb every piece of information possible. Let me see how you guys are operating, see the types of conversations, and you pick up on language cues too. So like I was able to communicate at such a young age. I was 22, 23, communicating at an executive level because I was sitting in on those conversations. I was emailing with those people and speaking their language because I was absorbing it. It's like when you go study abroad, you're absorbing the language because you're literally in it. And that was one of the pivotal points for my career. I'd say I was nothing on the totem pole there. I just kept a good Rolodex of digital influencers that was valuable to them after. So they became my first client when I started an agency, which was huge. That's a huge name to have on your roster. Thank you guys. Um, but as far as like my role with them, I was replaceable. I found ways of making myself valuable. And I think
Yeah.
that's where I always talk about on the too is find your value add. What are people coming to you for over and over and over again? versus what do you want to be known for? Of course, we all want to do things. We all want to be known for something. But if you're not valued in that, you're always going to feel it's going to be a sickly feeling. And that's what I've learned in the rest of my career is I was chasing something because I wanted to be something that people weren't finding value in me for versus leaning into where my value was. And
Yeah.
once I leaned into where my value was, my whole perspective on life, my energy changed, my like autoimmune diseases started going dormant, like I started healing myself quite literally. It was wild.
Wait, so you had an
Using the
autoimmune?
devil.
Oh, it's triples,
Mm-hmm.
guys, triples. You had an auto. What did you deal with?
So I was getting sick from stress, really, of my later jobs, just from the pressure I was putting on myself or not feeling valued or this, that, and the other. Thank you guys for using the triples. Thank you, thank you. I was diagnosed with relapsing polychondritis and lupus. I don't talk about it too much, but it definitely affects me. So if you hear me get a hoarse voice, that's what that is. It's relapsing polychondritis. It's my vocal cords and my cartilage flaring up. And it fluctuates, and now I'm able to manage it so much better with this sort of a lifestyle where I'm in control a lot more. You guys are playing circles. Um, and lupus is I'm lucky when it comes to lupus. I have a lesser version of lupus than a lot of females have. So I feel blessed there. But I couldn't even get a diagnosis for 10 years. So I was dealing with that while also being stressed at work and chasing this dream job that I wanted my entire life, or I was told I should want my entire life. I had chased the marketing director, head of marketing, global CMO, blah, blah, blah role. And I got there. When I got there, I realized, one, I'm not valued in it. I'm replaceable. And I don't actually love feeling replaceable. Like nobody loves that. You're going to always have a pit in the bottom of your stomach, right? Like you're going to be stressed constantly. Everyone's felt that at some point or another. Vander, I have extensions because of it. Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, no,
So,
I mean, it is cool though that you were able to take everything that you learned from that and use it in like this kind of growing market that you are in right now that was not even something that you would have believed would become a job like back when you were learning what you were. So, and I think that's
well,
really
I was around it a lot. So like I didn't see myself as a creator, and there's some creators on here even are like they see me because they know me from the brand world. They don't see me as a creator the same way as other creators. So like I don't, go and do collaboration videos or things like that with some people that I know on here, but they'll battle with me on here. We talk about they'll call me for other things. But I was exposed to a lot of creators at a young point in my career too.
yeah.
So it was a job. It just didn't think that it was ever going to be my job. I was on
What?
the other side.
Ooh, oh dang,
Nice.
Sniper. Sniper.
MVP
MVP
Eric. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you guys. We got two gloves. Jennifer, you got a glove. Mayan, Kathy, Tyler, Johnny, Apple Juice time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. MVP World Champ in the chat,
I'm
guys.
gonna need mods and squad to keep the chat moving and keep us focused on battle points. Thank you guys for playing. I hope you guys are enjoying the conversation. Let us know in the chat if you do. We'll keep it going.
Okay, so that's a really cool background. That's like a brief overview for sure of everything
For
that you
sure.
accomplished. I guess what's like the most what do you admire the most about what you've accomplished in life? Work related. Wait, do I need to do it at the same time as you? Is that maybe?
Not on a 1v1, I just have to it's almost like a vacuum. So it's just like a 10-second hold. So it vacuumed it out. Thank you, Eric. That's a great question. I think I probably need to sit with that a bit more even, but I wanted to produce a global campaign. That was one of my bucket list items, like since my days at Beats, to be able to be the one saying, this is my creative. Because a lot of times, I had a role in the Beats campaigns, but I never was the one that was like, this is the creative concept, this is who I want in it, this is what I want to do, here's where I want it to go, and have it be a global moment. I was able to do that at K-Swiss with some epic names. So I signed Venus Williams and YG to K-Swiss's first global brand campaign in 10 years. That's a huge moment for any marketer, and then to be able to deploy it across and pull in new fresh faces like Bryce Vine. Some of you guys know Bryce Vine, really epic names on a scrappy budget nonetheless, and do what we did with it was pretty epic. So that was definitely something I'm proud of. As far as other things I'm proud of, I think it's really just those moments where I was able to be creative and get in those lanes that I now am taking and doing for myself to some degree. So like I spoofed a Beats commercial on a whim with David Hasselhoff one night.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, that's wild.
so like epic, there's epic moments and epic stories, but like our World Cup campaign was dead in the water, like, and it was everywhere. They had spent millions on it. Germany was in the finals. It was 2 days away. I called up David Hasselhoff and was like, "Hey, I got an idea. What do you think? Can we launch for YouTube?" And he's like, "Yep, come over tomorrow." Okay, cool. We brought the whole camera crew. We did it all like, and we were able to spoof it pretty spot on without it feeling corny too, because we were able to, make it feel authentic to Beats' attitude. Eric, thank you.
Guys, can you hear her?
So it was cool moments.
Guys, can you hear her fine? Oh, you do hear her. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric.
Okay. This is
Um,
so I know that you're not a name dropper. I know that you're not a name dropper, but I want you to drop every name. I want you to give me a list of famous people
I
that
mean, name Hollywood that I know or that I've worked with. I mean,
insane. Like that's actually insane.
that one was cool. It was like so I have been really blessed and fortunate to find myself in situations where when there's something like that, Germany just happens to be in the World Cup. I just happen to reconnect with uh, David's agent and been like, because I asked questions. I met interesting people all around me in LA, and I was able to just make genuine connections, which is what I do here too. Like it all kind of works, it's all making sense when people that know me look at this. They're like, "This makes so much sense for you because this is just what you've been doing." Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
But just on more of a public platform. But like, um, I had made friends at the gym that just happened to be agents that just happened to be in like you make connections and people get to know you for you and want to do cool things. And when they realize that you're connected in a certain space, have the ability to help influence people to move in a certain direction, like having a team that could go spoof that commercial on a whim. I can name every name you can imagine. I've been on the back of I mean, like for everyone from the Kardashians to I've been at Paris Hilton beach house parties. Like it's LA. You meet everybody, and I don't want to sit here because I can. But everyone from that to like I brought in Tessa Brooks to L Space, the swimwear brand, to be a collaborator. Like so, everything from the social space to the celebrity realm, like and everything in between. I've somehow found myself in the mix in all those zones. So I never thought I'd be in front of the camera. I was always behind the camera, helping to facilitate those moments between brands and influencers and celebrities. That's really been my core here. And then thank you.
That's
but this has been a fun endeavor because now I get to control a little bit more of my destiny or my future or my what I've put out for my own brand's sake. And so I'm using all the things that I've done for 10, 15 years and just packaging it up in a different format for myself. It's nice. It's nice.
Champ.
Lions. One of these days we're gonna manifest lions.
Ooh, we are beating Gabriella Gomez, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't believe it was possible. MVP, be for real. You got a missed world champ. Thank you. Mayan, Sal, Kathy, Wendy, Jennifer, Marla. Thank you guys.
Series, Kenneth. So Sarah is asking me a series of questions while we run a battle. Y'all are playing. We're letting you kind of autonomously keep it moving. So mods and squad, we're needing you to keep the battle side of things moving.
Yes. Yeah.
We need them. Hopefully this is awesome.
Okay, let's switch the tracks here a little bit. Yeah. So let's like kind of focus on TikTok a little bit. So I mean, obviously, like it makes sense how you transitioned into social media.
So my social transition was, I don't know if I've told you this, but it wasn't at all to do with the brand side of things, really.
Oh.
So I got into social media because I was working on content for a celebrity brand and then was noticing how they did the live shopping on TikTok and was like, I don't think this is very on brand for this particular celebrity. And I just said, hey, do you mind if I come and just tell stories about traveling with you and creating content with you and talk about the jewelry along with it? And so we tried a couple of the TikTok live shop streams like that. And the team was like, you probably should go live on your own channel. Like this is a good, like you would be
Good
interesting
for you. You need to
to.
do this.
So
Yeah.
that's how I got into this. And then I was watching the FYP one day and seeing somebody that I'd matched up with on a dating app over and over and over again. Like for 5 years running, Sarah, I couldn't get a date. But with this particular person who's on ranks every day, by the way. You know him.
Wait, who? Can we please?
And I was like, what are you doing? Like,
Can you
huh?
please tell me? Can you please tell me who? I have to know.
I'll message you who it is. I don't say it on live.
Okay,
But
that's
I
fair.
watched
That's
him
fair.
consistently. I started and studied him. And I was like, what is this thing called battles? And I realized what it was, and I realized what it could be. And my marketing brain took it into what it could be if somebody were to come and evolve it. It takes time, and so the past year has really been building up my base, building up a following because I had no followers a year ago, like 2,000 and less.
Well, it was insane. You've
Doubles.
grown so quickly. You have grown
Crazy.
so quickly. I've never seen that happen before.
But it's been consistent. It wasn't like an overnight, all of a sudden she got, it was consistent, which is better in my opinion because you have more of a base. You've got a following, you've got a team. B Coats, thank you. Chaotic, thank you. You guys for playing. This is a close battle. Let's go.
World champ.
This has been the cool part about this is that like we've been able to, it's all about consistency, content, staying true to a narrative too. Like I like to talk to people just like you like to talk to people. You've been consistently wanting to do interviews and then you're doing them. Like we're going to evolve this space as we see TikTok change. We're going to see the change in entertainment side, but essentially this is your new talk show. This is your tuning in here and turning on the TV here, aka the live stream here, more than you are your actual TV. There's statistics that prove that. This has been where this is headed for the past 10 years. Like 10 years ago, I built a shoppable video app, Sarah, that essentially is TikTok Shop.
You created an app that's synonymous.
I created an app that's similar. So format of it, everything, pitched it around. It just wasn't it wasn't mine to fight for at that point. I was like, this is not what I'm going to be, going through the next 5 years. I knew it was a long way away. I knew that there were other groups like TikTok or like YouTube Red or like Amazon that were going to start to get into the space. And I'm like, I'm not going to try and compete with them. Let me just lean into where I know, and play it safe. So I played it safe for 10 years. I went into the brand side. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. I became, marketing director at K-Swiss. I became head of global marketing at L-Space, like the proper, what I thought I was supposed to be doing for like social norms, versus taking a risk and becoming a startup entrepreneur, all that good stuff.
So
This is my risk now.
Somebody actually does have a good question that's kind of related. So they're wondering if TikTok is your end goal, but like, are you an opportunist? Like the way that you've transitioned through these different like opportunities, I feel like you just kind of jump on the thing that you feel like you're good at and you just move forward with that. Like, would you consider yourself an opportunist?
So if you think about it, it's all intertwined. So what I'm good at is having conversations with people and building up other people too, teaching to some degree. Eric, thank you guys. Everybody go on the glove. Definitely not the end goal. The end goal though for here is I want to change the way that we view entertainment. That was always my mission. Dustin, thank you.
Mags, thank you. Want to change the way?
I want to change the way that we look at entertainment, the way that we consume entertainment, the way that I want to change entertainment.
Wow.
And that's essentially what we're doing here. Yeah. So as much as the toxic battles are a thing here, there's other forms of entertainment. And that's what I was set out in the beginning to kind of prove when I started getting into battles of like, you don't have to shit talk. You don't have to banter like that. We can have a good conversation like this and still have a good battle. Thank you, team. We can still do these entertainment lives that are different and moving forward, and then go single screen and do different types of content there too. It's just it takes time, and I needed to build a base first before I was able to really test out things. So in the next 6 months, you'll see me test out way more and take more risks, hopefully within the guidelines, of course. But the way the guidelines are shifting, it's also aligned with that mission. I knew that's where TikTok was headed. Is they're trying to become Netflix meets Amazon. Period. That's their zone. Both of those two. So if you think about it like that, you've got Netflix or Hulu or any of the streaming platforms. That's entertainment. Then you have shopping. How do you now merge the two?
Yeah, right. That's how I was feeling when you said that you made that app. I almost feel like TikTok took advantage of something like the concept of Amazon, swooped in and just made it more clickbaity, more accessible, and
Well, it's more. I think your modern day QVC. But imagine if the QVC met the Kardashians. The Kardashians is like what we know in the U.S., but over in China, it's QVC style shopping. It's that
right.
if there's a speech pattern, that's why I also was able to optimize the algorithm here. Is I knew the speech pattern was a big factor. Eye contact, lighting. Ego, ego. For me, I think the MVP was real quick.
Yes, absolutely. MVP world champ, you got a glove. Be for real, you got a glove. Finally. Mayan, Jennifer, Adam, Chaotic, Jill, all the tappers.
Do we have gloves in here, team? Thank you for staying focused on the battles. Spectrum, how many gloves do you have by chance? Spectrum, do you have gloves? But yeah, as far as my end goal goes, this in
It's a
theory,
big
like
goal.
as a, what?
It's a big goal. It's a really big goal, but
It's a lofty like goal that most people don't understand, or they think that it's like too big.
it's not
But
too
I think
big.
that it's you'll always find a way to like I can always find some solace of like, okay, I did it because I did X, Y, and Z because it is such an umbrella of a goal. Be able
Yeah.
to change the way that we perceive entertainment in certain zones, or I get to test out certain things with brand endorsements through here or TikTok shop type integration.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a
Okay.
long-winded answer, but yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Too big.
So we discussed like the business side of things. What about like your family life? What about your home life? Who is Gabriella Gomez outside of work? Are you a workaholic? What are your friends like? Like, what's your life like? Hobby.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've become a workaholic. I've always been a workaholic. I was very rigid, very even like before TikTok, before any of this, like I was very focused. I didn't drink, I didn't do much of anything risk wise. I like didn't take risks. I was very play it safe. That's it. That came also with dating and friends. I played it safe. I'm reserved. I was much more introverted, which comes across a certain way, unfortunately, that then pushes people away on top of it all, right? I wasn't comfortable with myself. I wasn't confident at all. I was 50 pounds heavier, 5-0. And with that comes a lot of insecurities too. And so once I hit a certain point where I was like, I'm comfortable with myself, I'm confident in myself, I can let loose, I've done things, I have a little bit of a cushion, like we're safe. I'm safe to take some risks. And that is now what I'm working on, and that also now means I can take risks, date around, go on a date or two.
Are
Cool.
you dating anybody?
I'm not dating anybody right now. I'm on all the apps. I've talked about this earlier too. Exploring that. It's not like I can't date anyone. I don't feel the need to like say no to dating. If that makes sense. Whereas before I'd be like, oh, I have things to do. I prioritize work or play it safe, not go on the date because it's like I'd overthink it, that kind of thing.
Sure. Do you think that
Just
the
saying no.
work-life balance aspect of it, like, do you think that streaming so many hours and just working so hard because you are quite literally the hardest working streamer that I've ever seen on this app. Do you think that does get in the way of like your dating life or like I don't know, just a work-life balance in general? Like, do you feel like that gets in the way at all? I know this the static. I'm so sorry. I can tell that it's upsetting, but
No, no, no. I was muting while you were finishing that statement. I was muting to get rid of the static. It's TikTok be TikToking sometimes. Um, it does get in the way. I think the stuff. Um, my ultimate work-life balance is no balance. There shouldn't be like a clear there. Life is messy. We're not going to have there's a show on Apple TV that's where he like clocks in and he blacks out basically, and he doesn't remember in his personal like the two worlds are separate. Severance,
Yes.
it's called.
Yes. I just
Such a good
watched that.
show and such a good analogy to life because like those two separate worlds, it can't happen, right? You inevitably you're going to have one impact the other and vice versa. So the perfect dream scenario is something that merges together and you both amplify each other and you're building something that helps each other or you're at least like there for each other, right? That's the dream. Thank you guys. Um, but it does impact who I date if they don't understand the world that I'm standing here
Okay.
because they're looking at it like a certain type of way. So I've been the minute a guy says anything about me, oh, you have to get on a live stream, or they're saying some sort of snarky comment, I'm out.
I know.
Gone. See ya. Not doing this because it's inevitably going to chip away. If that's their first reaction to it, they're not asking questions about what it is. They're not getting into it. They're not joining the chat. I've had some prospects join the chat just to understand it all, and then they follow up with me with questions. And just like how I did with the person that I watched originally on Battles, we were matching up on dating apps, and I was curious about why are you spending every night? Why can't I get a date? Like what? That's factual.
So it's so funny. Do you feel like the tables have turned a little bit almost, where you're like, now I understand, and I'm almost in the same place with it.
Of like not wanting to take a night off. I'd say I love a lunch date, especially like the first couple of dates should be lunch, it should be casual, it should be getting to know each other, and then I'll take nights off. Like then okay, fine, we'll adjust my schedule a bit around you. But until somebody has earned that spot, or at least shown that they've got a level of effort and interest that I can match, then there's no need. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
totally. MVP.
MVP Jennifer, thank you, Maya and Adam. Doopy Hoopy, maybe? I don't know if that's how you say that. Kathy, Jill, thank you guys.
Justin, thank you. Lululemon, Jonathan, Mags, Liz, and everyone tap my face. Thank you, team. Organic is best. Yes, absolutely. Do you guys like this conversation? I know we haven't talked like this in a while. Y'all are getting to know a lot of things. I
So,
love it.
do you think that, because you put in so many hours, girl, would you say that,
I put in
like,
a lot. So I had goals to hit. I was like, a year ago, I joked around. I'm like, yeah, let me get, I think I said $250,000 was actually randomly the goal within the first year. Let me hit Live Pro. I just was like, yeah, let's freaking do, like, I joked around 2 years ago that I was going to become an influencer, but I was kind of serious. I'm like, I should do this. And people around me were like, you should do that. You already know the brands, you know how to create content for other people. Why aren't you doing it for yourself? Fair enough, but it's still it's almost like imposter syndrome when you've been used to doing it for other people for so long.
yeah,
So you're used to doing things in general for other people, and you then turn to do it for yourself. You question it, right? You feel weird about it because it's not. It's now feeling self-involved or narcissistic or like all those things that we get trolled on in our chat constantly on. It feels like that amplified because we're so used to doing it for other people, and this can be translated to everything, right, Sarah? Like
huh.
anything in life, you can probably translate that too. Like you're so used to cooking dinner for someone, or I don't know, doing whatever you do it for
I
yourself,
was
just for yourself.
I was the clinical manager for a mental health clinic, and I didn't feel like it was real. I had imposter syndrome. It's totally applicable to anything that you feel kind. It's not even low self esteem, really. It's more just like, how is this even real? Like, I don't even feel like I belong, even though I'm highly skilled. So
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I sat at tables. I was under 30 as a director of marketing for a global brand, um, dealing with high level budgets and executives across the globe. And like, I was constantly questioning myself then. And now, even sort of now, I've probably in the past year, that's been my biggest accomplishment is getting over that. Now I'm like, I'm
Right.
doing what I need to do for me and makes me happy. And if I like this type of content, then
Yes.
we're doing it.
Yes.
Which is where this is freeing. It's honestly been the most mentally and soulfully freeing experience, right?
That's
As much as we
awesome.
get hate and there's stressful nights, we have, for the most part, the streamer side. If you're consistent here, you have a lane that is yours. And if you're able to monetize that lane, incredible. You now have a lane and an investment to then take and go and turn it into something you're willing to.
Yeah,
So.
somebody else is wondering if your other social media platforms are big like this, and I did peep your Instagram. You have what, 60,000, 90,000 followers? I can't remember. It was a lot.
90,000, but it tripled the minute I started promoting my TikTok on there. Tripled for some
Triple.
reason.
Oh
Tripled. I
my
was stuck at 10,000 for a long time. Then it jumped to like 30,000. But like I've not been able to monetize. I didn't really focus on it. That's why I was never like, oh, I'm gonna be on an influencer. Like no.
wow.
Let's for 20 seconds.
Wow.
Don't have a Facebook. Don't have an X. Don't have a YouTube. I need to learn YouTube. I had a Twitch channel at one point, but I don't know where that is. It was for funsies.
Mhm.
So all these, like, I never really focused on my own social. It was always everybody else's. Chaotic, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So does now with this like looming feeling of a ban or whatever, I mean, we're kind of in the dark. We've been in the dark a little bit. I'm sure you've had some more discussions with managers and such, but um, I mean, how do you feel going forward? Like, what is your 2 year plan? What is your, I mean, even this year plan with everything going on? If TikTok gets taken away, I mean, this is your main source of income, I assume, right? So,
It's the biggest, most stable, I'll say,
okay,
randomly, which is terrifying to think about it from that perspective of something that's very unstable just in general. I never advise like anyone that's social media driven, anyone that's content based, always have some sort of stability income in your life
yeah.
because it is unstable and it just that's the nature of the beast here.
Mhm.
Um, I would say I pull my replays and I pull clips and I have basically I do all these sizzle reels of funny moments that happen in our streams because now I have all that to take and I could go take it to QVC, I could go to wherever, pitch myself out that way, and now I have the experience and the reel essentially to be like, look, I can do this. And I have the confidence that I can talk on camera for hours, 12 hours on end, no breaks, no resets, thugging it out. Like I have proven that I can do that to myself. So I can do it for any other brand or like opportunity that comes that way. And that's easier for me to then go and sell. And that's my like solace of it. That's where I'm a little bit less worried about things because I know I can go build up other things now that I've got and had the experience that I've had the past year. I'm more confident that I can do it
Yeah,
versus before it was a risk. It was totally a risk and yeah.
yeah.
So yeah.
MVP Jennifer asked,
Eric. Thank you, Eric. You got a stun hammer. Thank you, Chaotic. You got a stun hammer. Thank you, Scott, Jojo, Flick, Mags. Everyone top my face. Thank you, team.
okay, so you did mention that your sleep schedule was a little messed up. And I mean, obviously, like we all know, you've been streaming your booty off, the amount of hours that you've put in, the amount of work and time that you've put in. Um, has this ever affected your mental health? Because I know that sleep is directly correlated with like cognitive health and mental health. And even further than that, maybe potentially like bullying, because any creator can tell you that it doesn't matter who you are, if you put yourself out there, you're going to get hate comments. So, has the bullying, the sleep, any other aspects of doing what you've been doing for the past half a year to a year, however long you've been on TikTok specifically, how has that affected your mental health?
Yeah, so I think that's been my biggest holdback and was my biggest holdback, I should say, up until this year, really. Is I had one experience when I was younger with a publication online, kind of like a Just Jared or like a Perez Holden, write a hate article on my weight when I was in my like when I was 21. Like trolled
Interesting.
me, friends saw it. I had terrible online like cyberbullying literally from a publication. Like it was a proper
Wow.
blog, website, all that. So I was traumatized at a young age there. And that's why I never really pursued anything on camera either or anything in the public facing side. You do open yourself up to that, and I am aware of that. Um, I luckily have come to a place with myself where I'm like, I'm confident in what I've done career wise. I'm confident in my body. I like the way I look. I'm good mentally, physically. Obviously, when you go through roller coasters like that, where you get pushed to a point where it's gonna break. Like there have been two moments that I can think of that Ellen and Chad probably know. One of them that happened over Thanksgiving that you could see it on my face. I can't even hide it, and I'm pretty good at hiding some of those emotions. Um, but it affects you, and it lingers, and you get scared, and it's a matter of like, okay, one was bullying, uh, body shaming. That happened a while ago. Luckily, I'm confident in myself, but I'm conscious of what the chat experiences too, because what we open ourselves up to it. But the ripple effect in the chat of like we can handle it and we can like compartmentalize certain things, but the chat might be different, and I'm aware of that part. And so I try and hold my ground and hold my boundaries of like, okay, how much verbal abuse are we taking? How much of that the hate do we take? And if it's body shaming, how do I talk about it after? And how do I have a conversation without it having like control over the stream and me at that point? Just to make sure that everyone else's mental health stays intact. Because I am conscious of that, Sarah. Like we have to keep it. We have, as streamers, we're responsible too of what we talk about. Just like how the TV shows had that disclaimer down at the bottom of the screen back in the 90s and early 2000s, they had a disclaimer and like a helpline is what you talk about on screen. People then take either and are impacted by in so many different ways that we just don't know and can't control them.
Yeah, no, that's
The
huge.
second
That's
one, they were trying to put a label on me, and I was like, nope, not having that. That's not. You don't play around with certain things. You don't put false narratives on people that could destroy their career. That's not. You don't play like that. I will call my lawyer.
What label? What
I'm not
specific?
even gonna get into it. Won't even get into it, but it was one that was damning and could take me out of my professional life too, if I so choose to be full time in brands again. Like I was like not having, but that's where I was like, okay, well I'm just gonna go consult a lawyer and make sure that I'm protected.
It
And as
was
long as I feel protected in some way or another, I didn't play around with it. It wasn't something I was going to allow to play around with, and I wasn't going to let them spin it. And I'm not going to say that I don't even want it to be a topic in the chat,
sure.
guys.
Yeah.
Like, but it's and I won't speak ill of this person. That's how they get views. That's how they. Fine, got it. I hope that they do really well. I see that they're doing well in ranks like recently. Great. I love that for them. So then maybe they don't have to feel the need to attack other people or put false
Yeah.
labels and narratives on
I
people.
think that's an amazing.
People do it out of desperation. They do it out of.
Yeah, no,
But
I think
it takes a lot. I mean, it was mentally draining, and I got sick off it. Like lupus and relapsing polyarthritis both like are stress induced and triggered by that. So those things definitely, those moments. I mean, I went white one of the days. When one of the things was happening, I didn't know. I was like, great, everything we've built for the past year, let alone 15 years, let alone my entire. I saw it all kind of just like crumble if they were to choose to go vicious and dirty and go that route. So luckily, it stayed medium. If it had escalated, I had a lawyer on speed dial, ready to go,
yeah.
just in case. We can't play around with it. You have to feel safe in any work environment, in any personal life. Like that's our biggest human need, right? Is safety. And once you have safety, your mental health is helped as well. Because I think that's where a lot of our mental health issues come from. Is we don't feel safe, right?
Yeah.
We don't feel safe in any safe in our bodies, safe in our physical spaces. Safety is what will help your mental health the most. So.
Yeah. Go ahead and thank your people. Guys, thank you so much for the roses.
MVP, Eric. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mags. You got a time maker. Thank you, Chaotic, Scott, Savage Amanda, and everyone tapped my face. Thank you. Do you guys agree with me? Does safety help? Drop a 1 in the chat if you agree that safety helps your mental health. Safety in one facet or another will help your your mental health, because I think that's where people will spiral, and then oftentimes they'll lash out at other people, causing, hurt people.
Exactly.
Um,
Always. Always.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But safety, create safety in some way or another. You'll be okay.
yeah. Okay, so let's switch it up a little bit. Here, let me hit that rematch button. Okay, so you've had a lot of collabs with creators, with TikTok creators. Who all have you met?
Which club? Oh, with like so like
I've
two
seen
v
you with
twos and things
Tommy
like
Two
that.
Coats. I've seen you with Tommy. No, like in person, like meetups. You
Oh
know.
yeah, yeah. So I'm going to know with Tommy Two Coats this weekend.
Wait, I thought
We're
you
gonna learn
guys
how to snowboard.
did. You guys already hung out though, right? I think, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We've met, we've hung out for Live Fest when everyone was supposed to come in. A lot of them came in anyways. And so I was like, all right, literally resident LAer that's still here during all the fires. Let me show you guys around and where to go. So Tommy Two Coats. I met a Boo who's you may know a Boo. I don't know. He's like a daytime streamer, always on ranks, heavy hitter. I met him at the office. Um, who else? I mean, I've met a lot of people.
Girl, I want to know. I want to know who you met on
Traveled with
TikTok.
Julia Shea. I've traveled with Julia Shea. She's gonna be part of the snow weekend as well. I've met Fire, obviously. She was one of the first people that I did a collab with. Sean, I'm blanking on Sean's last name. Eric Mack. I've met Eric Mack. Jeffree Star, of course, of course.
Okay,
All of
wait.
Jeffree's crew.
I've
I was
heard
at.
Jeffree Star. I've heard Jeffree Star is like super nice in person. Like you have to tell me like all the details. I need to know about Jeffree Star.
So nice. And I tell this story a lot, I feel like, because it's something that stood out to me that um, as creators we kind of understand, but it's hard for most people to understand it until I tell a story. When you're having, there was a viral moment that was the "Hi Gabriella," that's audio. Did you ever hear that? Where Jeffree kicked somebody out of his store back in August, and then turns to me and goes, "Hi Gabriella," in like the nicest, and we had such a warm meet,
Fun. I
first
love
meeting.
that.
But at its core is emotional intelligence too, not letting one bad moment with an interaction at an opening after being on your feet, meeting hundreds of people for like 6 hours in. Are you kidding me? That's a lot of energy, and to be able to insulate that bad energy from one incident and not have it again ripple effect out to other people, that's such a hard skill
Yeah.
that even I can't. I mean, we have a tough time behind a screen doing it often. Like anyone, it's everyone's gonna have their day, everyone's gonna have their moment. You're gonna have to shake it off at a certain point and do your best. But like to have that in person after such a long day on your feet in person interacting at a store opening at your launch event, like that's a huge thing to be able to go, nope, you're out of here, done, I'm mad at you, absolutely not having whatever
Yeah,
antics
like
you're doing.
smashing your
Turn to
social
somebody else,
battery.
go,
Yeah.
like, oh, hi, and be warm and kind and personable. That's such a crazy good skill to
It is.
master, and that was very clearly a masterful switch, which is why everyone does say that Jeffree is so, because that's exactly how you need to be. At that, like Jeffree is a icon, celebrity,
Yeah.
all the things.
Okay,
And
cool.
this is that to me was like, okay, wow. Not only do I, that's respect. You get my respect forever on that one. Because I've seen the highest level executives not be able to do that, and
Yeah.
have caused me stress with the highest level executives at some of the coolest brands and biggest brands you can name, not be able to take one bad interaction and not have it ricochet across the rest of their staff or around the rest of their day or meetings or what have you. And as a certain caliber, whether you're an executive, whether you're managing a team, you're managing a warehouse, whatever you do, you shouldn't have one bad incident impact the rest of your interactions. And that's your role as a manager, as a team leader here, as we are on screen, right, Sarah? Like you have to like not, shouldn't be lashing out at the chat if we have a bad interaction with somebody on screen, or one bad interaction in the chat, we can't lash out at the rest of the chat. But some days it's hard, and it's a hard skill set to master. But that one interaction, I was like, wow, that's a W. Like Jeffrey's got my respect forever on that
So
one.
did you meet him at Live Fest, or where did you guys like hang out at?
I went to the store opening in Woodland Hills.
Right. Okay.
His
Yeah.
his LA store. Yeah, with Eric.
Oh,
Yeah.
so did he
And then
like
I went to his
invite
birthday
you?
party as well.
Did he invite you there? That is so cool.
Yeah, we battled a couple times, and then I went to the store opening, and we've become friends since. Went to the birthday party as well in November. It's such a great group. Like everyone's very kind, just as you expect them to be consistent off screen, which is so hard to find too, because a lot of the creators, I'm sure you know, Sarah, like you meet some creators off the screen and they're not consistent. You're like, this is where we get the reputation, consistency on and off the screen. This is how.
I know. I'm so glad I met Shorty Shane and that he validated that for me. Like he was like, yeah, you're exactly the same on and off. And I was like, thank goodness. Like I don't want to be fake and I don't want people to think I am either. So
You can tell the genuine creators versus the ones that are like their persona takes over. You are obviously a very genuine person. It comes across. You're asking questions about other people. That comes across too. Like that's why you're able to do. Yeah, Shorty's awesome. You're very clearly a genuine creator. Definitely.
I appreciate
It doesn't
that.
shock me. Shorty. They're the same.
MVP Adam,
Eric, thank you, Eric. You got a stun hammer. Thank you, Claire. You got a glove. Mickey, thank you. Chaotic, thank you. Jeremy, and everyone tap my face. Thank you.
Okay, so you you and I both know that on TikTok in the ranks, people tend to recycle sometimes, right? What is your take on that? Have you ever partaken in that? Yeah, what's your stance? What's your stance on recycling?
We're in a new battle, guys. Tap my face. Hello. I don't recycle. I understand it from certain creators' perspective. So I will always, I can see both sides. I gift a few people. I don't gift that many people. And the few people that I do gift, I'm like, here's royalties, because I basically watched them when I first started, and so I'm like, it's like a loyalty and a royalty essentially to those people, or it's friends that I want to make sure that their gift galleries are filled up, that kind of thing. I just never recycled back. I've literally called out one streamer that came back and tried to give it back, and I was like, I'm going to keep giving it back to you, and it's going to look bad. Stop it. I'm not. This is me giving this because I respect what you do and I admire what you do, and you're. Like there's certain creators on here that I love when I scroll past, because I don't scroll very often through streams. I stop on their stream and I know what they do as a creator, and I know that they're so genuine. They're doing something cool on here that's, again, going back to my mission of like changing how we consume and what entertainment is. Like if they're doing something different, I fucking admire that, and I'm gonna drop them something. Yeah. If I know that they're hustling their butt off and they're struggling, but they're wanting to test things out, they're looking at the analytics, they're really like studying the craft of this, because I study analytics. Like I'm looking at the numbers, I'm testing patterns, I'm testing theories, I'm testing all the things. If I know someone's trying to do that and trying to better their stream, I'm going to try and help them as much as I can too, which oftentimes is like going and gifting, trying to test out little trigger things in the beginning of their stream. Thank you guys for getting the doubles. But no, I've never partake in recycling. But I understand it. It's just not my lane.
Yeah, okay. Well, so how do you feel about like the ranks in general with other people recycling and it making it more challenging for smaller creators to grow?
It's frustrating, and it pisses me off to some degree too when it comes down to like I have an agency ranking board. We cook on that agency ranking board. Now we're number 3. I 6x'd the second place number at number 1 in July. Now the agency has some other creators that are potentially, I don't know, but numbers that are substantial. They're, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to call it out, but to be able to be that big of a difference and then all of a sudden jump leapfrog over me in this team and the other teams that cook just as much, like that, it's frustrating. And I've said I will not battle them. I will not go into tournaments with them. I'm not going to do it because they're having. I mean, we got dumped on a battle. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Like absolutely, like millions every single round for 5 rounds, million points every round for several rounds in an agency battle. It was odd, and I knew all the top levels. So it's frustrating, and I try not to see it any sort of way. Everyone's got their end goals here. There's a strategy, I'm sure, and look, I love a strategy. If you have a strategy, cool. It's not for me. I'm not going to partake in it. Don't battle me. My team gets defeated, and then we get off track for the night, if not for the week. Like it's a really disheartening moment when you see stuff like that.
So you don't.
It's a tough loss.
You respect it on one side. You respect it, but you.
I understand it. I don't know if I respect it.
Okay. You understand.
Yeah, I understand it. I understand it.
But you're not really a fan. You don't really like recycling.
I don't really like it. No.
Okay. Me neither.
If it's true support and if they were to honestly tell me that their top levels were all just pure supporters, they sit in their streams for hours a day, and there's a mission there, and that's why, and there's a purpose and whatever. Understood. Got it. That's not recycling. It's like, hey, I'm gonna send you 10 U's. I'm gonna send you 10 U's. That's,
yeah, you send me a uni, I
like,
send you a uni. You send me a uni, I send
and there's so many people that are like explicitly saying it, especially with the gift gallery thing that everyone stresses over now. And I think we're gonna see a lot more of it as this new guideline comes out for the payout structure. We're gonna see a lot more of it.
Yeah, no, it's gonna get worse. Absolutely, I agree. Okay.
No, I can't. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Chaotic.
Okay, let's do a little segment. So read off your people really quickly. Hold on. Let me do that. MVP Jennifer, thank you, Kathy, thank you, Blue Eyed, all the tappers, guys. The taps are amazing. You guys are at 67.5K. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Chaotic. MVP Eric. Thank you, Eric, for keeping this going. You got a glove. Okay, so what's the game?
Okay, so the game is I name a creator and you tell me your opinion or an experience that you've had with them. It can be positive, negative, it can be long, short, whatever you want. So it's
oh boy.
I'm naming names and you're telling me how you feel. So
okay. Yeah.
Chat, if you want to put names in the chat too, feel free. Okay. Jimmy Speedway.
Jimmy Speedway. Okay. We're starting right off with it, huh? Oh man. Okay. I'm probably gonna ruin his reputation here.
Oh no. I'm gonna cry. Sorry, no, I'm just kidding.
Guys. As much shit as Jimmy Speedway gets on this app, he is a good human.
Okay. Okay.
He is there for his friends. He is genuinely there for people. He has helped guide me through some big moments too. Like he was who I battled when I was on a podium push. We were trying to get #1. We were sniped off at the last second. He was the only person that was like, let me talk you through this. You need energy. And I'm like, I've been on for 24 hours. I have no energy. What are you talking about? He's yelling, getting everybody hyped up in like a positive way. He's like, who's matching lunch? Like he's driving the train. That's huge for a creator to do that. Most people do not give a shit about you on here. No, most creators do not want to see you succeed. Most creators do not want to see you succeed, period. And if you're hitting ranks and they're not, or even if you're surpassing them, you're hitting a certain milestone and they haven't in a while or aren't at that moment even, they could have done it yesterday. If you're doing it today, they're still not going to be wanting you to. He's not like that. Yeah. And as much shit as he likes to give people, as much trolling as he does on here, is he a troll? He's a troll. Let's be real. He's a troll too. But like at his core, he's a good human that does want to see other people succeed and will help them get there if they're kind. So
It's fair.
that's
I like it. I like it.
yeah.
Okay. Guys, put people's name in the chat. People are spamming Alpha Mr. Best.
Who?
Alpha Mr.
Eric,
Best.
thank you. Yeah, I won't speak on that one. That one doesn't exist to me. He's nothing.
Okay.
That's it.
So is it because you don't want to like give him any clout? Because I get that. I really do. I really understand that. Like you don't if you don't want to is it that or is it because of like us?
I don't respect it. I can respect a lot of people and most people. I don't respect it. I don't think it's worth mentioning his name. The way that he operates, not how I want to operate, and period.
Okay, that's fair. Um, Missy Peterson.
I like Missy. Again, I think I get a lot of troll comments anytime she comes in to my screen, but I've had nothing but positive interactions on screen with her.
Cool. Yeah.
So, yeah, very
Heartland.
kind. I've only battled with him once or twice, I think. I don't really have a real read on him. We don't really talk like at all. Like it was a competitive battle. That's fun, like it's always fun to have a competitive battle. And he's come into the chat a couple times, said hello, as most creators come through my chat at some point in the night. Most creators do come through my chat at some point in the night. That's a weird realization, but it is a thing. Yeah, so I know there's a lot of drama between the two, and they try to put me in between the two, and it's not true at all.
Oh, wait, really? What do you mean they tried to
Yeah.
put, like the chat did or what?
The chat tries to start rumors about Missy, Heartland, and I, and it's just nothing is true. Like I've not met either of them. Missy's lovely to me on screen. Heartland's nice to me on screen. I've only battled each of them a couple of times. So it's just chat, the chat being chatty.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Venom. Do you know Venom?
I adore Venom. Hold on, let me get rid of the static.
Oh yeah, the dang static.
It's real staticky today. I adore Venom. She is so freaking talented. That girl, her artwork, let alone her personality. She is a cult leader. She's built a cult, and I'll say that forever. I've been in her Discord. Oh my god, that girl. Love that girl.
Yeah.
So, I love it. Yeah.
Guys, keep putting names in the chat.
Watch
She'll
this
give
night,
you,
guys.
she'll give you her opinion about anybody, guys.
Yeah. Even like I've watched a couple of creators, but there's like people that I don't. I think those are more controversial people that you've named so far. Venom is just pure, like, the girl's talent. I want to see her become such a world-renowned talent. Like, have you seen the painting she did of me? She did that in like a night.
She does such a good job. It's insane. It's so cool.
Unreal. And
Yeah.
the things she could do, that man, yeah.
Yep.
MVP.
Okay, guys, I'll say those names in just a second. MVP Texas Mom of Two, Kathy, Abby, Adam. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
What was that, Zach? When the conversation picks back up? What are you talking about? Hold on a second.
Okay. People are saying J-Hop.
I like J-Hop. I think he's entertaining. I sit in his stream a lot. It's entertainment. And I get it.
Yeah.
Like, I respect the
leaders
on his hustle. He doesn't stop, like he's consistent. And I like consistent people with personalities that are true to themselves.
Yes.
For sure.
Ammo Barbie.
I like Ammo too. She's always been very kind to me. She's always having fun. She helped me find games on here. So I love that.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
John Collins.
I've watched his stream a couple times when I first started. I think he's interesting. He's got a solid following. Other than that, I haven't really interacted with him ever. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Somebody says Mally, Molly, Mally.
Mallywhacker? Probably Mally. Mally's
No.
a flirt. I love it. I love a good flirt. You know, like the smiles on both sides. It's fun. I like to fluster him because he's very easily flustered.
Oh wait, is this like a potential prospect?
No. I think my chat has been wanting that. His chat gets because he stays single screen on the screen a lot, and guys that do that, their chats get very defensive, very possessive, very involved. So it gets a little aggressive. So I'm conscious of that with any male streamer. African Knight, no, you don't. But there's theories that that would help get the glove to hit. To answer your question, African Knight, thank you. Um, the chat, my chat would love to see that. His chat would hate to see that. Just
Okay.
difference in how we.
Gypsy, she doesn't like everybody. She already made it clear about somebody else that she doesn't even want to bring up. So,
There's only two people that I would say absolutely not. I'm not even gonna, but I won't stoop to their level and talk shit on them. Period. Like I could sit here all day and trash them. It doesn't do any of us any good. Why? Why would I do that?
yeah,
So
no, I don't think we should spread negativity as a culture or community. So, um, guys, everything is double. Okay, yeah, that that static is crazy. Let me scroll up to find more names. Tatted Fire. That's so ironic. Tatted Fire.
I think he's got a solid core crew of people. I mean, he's built a strong team. Player. Um, and he's finding more of himself on stream these days. Cool.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool to watch him because he turned live pro like 4 months before me. So I've battled with him over the summer. It's cool to watch him evolve. Yeah, his chat's one of the toxic ones though because he stays single screen sometimes too long.
Somebody said Eric. I'm not sure if there's a last name there. They literally said Eric, Eric. I don't know if they're just repeating themselves.
Eric,
Maybe.
oh, Eric Mack is probably who they're referring to.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, Another one that like has such a cool community. His chat, I trolled his chat, so I got bananaed a couple weeks ago for the first time ever, Sarah. And when I tell you I was spiraling, whew, I trolled his chat instead. I was just unhinged in his chat, and they run itself. He barely looks at the screen. It's fascinating because, like, as streamers, we're told to like have a good lighting setup, eye contact with the screen, stay in touch with the chat. I see y'all. And the chat monitors itself. Like his mod group is solid. Like he's got a core squad, and they go hard, and I love to see it. I think he's an interesting person as well.
Okay.
Like if you pull it out of him, it can be very interesting.
Okay.
You have to pull it out of him because he's a little cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm trying to scroll and find.
Watch the snow, guys. We have a
All
6
Money.
piece now. Let's watch the snow.
All Money.
Money?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've watched All Money in a long time, but I've seen them with J-Hop, obviously. I think they're entertaining. And that's that. They've got core squads that I admire. The fact that their teams show up freaking every time. Both of those two. No matter, they're never going to sit on double taps. I sit on double taps often. I lose a good amount. Right? So like we're used to, that was me all last night, Sarah. Like after 8:30 last night, we just double taps. You know, like that's all it was. Which is fine. But I liked the conversations of having fun at a certain point. You go through the roller coasters, you're doing stuff like this. And that makes for good content, even if the team isn't engaging sometimes. So
Let me try to mute.
Eric. Thank you, Eric. You got a glove. Thank you, thank you. Claire, thank you. Jonathan Galotto, thank you. Everyone tap my face, thank you.
Did that help?
But yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, I think we have to, so if we start another one, then I just mute the mic and it suctions out the static. I don't know. TikTok's just the audios don't mix. I'll go crazy with it every night. It's just how it is.
Okay.
Oh.
What about Adriel Sigler?
I don't know her too well. So I honestly don't. I know there's always controversy. I would see her name pop up, but other than that, she's never been me. Like none of these people have been any sort of way with me. The only ones that have been sort of way are the ones that I'm like, hard no, not talking about them. Everyone else is very nice, like for the most part. I've had a couple of like interactions with some, but we've gotten past it. We've done it on live oftentimes. Talk through things. Thank you, half for tonight.
Yeah.
Um, so she's one of those that I know that there's a lot of controversy swirling around her, but she's never been any sort of way to me. So that's how I base my, you know, I'm not going to judge somebody off of other people's bullshit, not off other people's drama. It's going to be how do you treat others around you that I'm witnessing, and or how do you treat me and my crew? That's
Yeah.
how I like I'm gonna judge people if I'm going to judge them in that sense. You know, like if I'm gonna have a perspective or a consensus on them, it's gonna be based on my personal experience, witnessing something or my personal experience directly with them. That's it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So okay, I don't want to like bring up drama. I don't want to like start anything. I don't want to upset you or like your chat or anybody. But I do remember like I was witnessing this when it happened when the person that you don't want to talk about was body shaming you, which is absolutely disgusting. Um, like I just want to know like how you handled that. Did that bring up any personal like internal insecurities? Did it like how did you take that and like grow from it? Because I feel like that was a point for you where you honestly took that and like just grew even more. So how did you
Yeah.
get to that point
It,
with that?
people witnessed how I dealt with like a serious interaction like that, and I think I was able to stay without causing. I didn't want to cause more drama. I didn't want to ripple it and turn it into something that it didn't need to be either.
Yeah.
It escalated very quickly. And to give you guys some context, he was saying that I was too skinny, which for me, I'm like, one, I live in LA. You told me I'm skinny. Oh my God, thank you. You know, like it's great. Have a good night. Thank you. But
No.
I also lost 50
You're
pounds within the
beautiful.
past 2 years. Thank you. But like to know that journey, like he didn't know my background. He didn't know I lost 50 pounds. Thank you guys for playing. Thank you so much. And a lot of people don't know that. Thank you guys. Um, so I was able to kind of tell my background a little bit more without, you know, feeling it to be defensive. It's just like he didn't know that. That was a real thing. But I also am conscious because I've been on the other side of it, where if someone were to call me, you know, anything else too, like right previously, like I don't want anyone to feel any sort of way about their bodies. Like the stress of that used to eat away with me. It used to drive me to the gym constantly. I did 2 days at the gym, 2 day sessions, an hour in the morning, hour at night of cardio every single day for 10 years. Like no matter what, if I didn't do it, I was off for the day. I was like not well. That's
Okay.
that's a version of an eating in itself. That's body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
That's like you're so just and insecure about things. That sucks. Anyone in the chat that feels that like too, like when you're witnessing somebody get called too skinny, you're triggered. You can trigger that too, and so that's more what I got defensive about. Of like, hold up, you were now body shaming on that part too. Like, how dare you? You don't know what the chats are going through. Somebody could be, you know, dealing with any version of an eating disorder, body image issue,
Yeah.
self-esteem issue. What on earth? Now we're triggering something deeper than just you calling the other team broke, which is a whole other level of disrespect that I just don't partake in. But you know, that's what bothered me is the fact that like you had three guys on screen and he's telling me to go eat a sandwich or that some guy was gonna break me in half because of a twig or whatever. Like what now we really can't win. Now you're just like finding any excuse to bat us around like you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too this, you're too that. You can't win as a female as it is.
Right.
And
I mean, this
yeah,
we're
so
talking
luckily
about.
mentally I
Sorry.
go for it.
It's I
No,
think
you're
there's
fine.
like
Yeah,
a
go.
time difference almost or something. I like we're talking about the same person that told me that I was like a bad mom for choosing adoption. You know what I mean? Like it's one of the just that kind of person. You know what I mean? We're not gonna change that.
Because you chose to give your child up for adoption, or because
Yeah, yeah,
you chose that adoption? Okay.
yeah.
I think
Like,
that's wonderful. And like I've always talked about, because I get shamed on here for not having kids half the time too. Like again, you can't win.
no,
And I'm like, I would choose adopt. Like I love the fact that you did that, because that was you being like, hey, I'm gonna give my child the best opportunity possible, right?
but
That was,
but it's
you
people
know,
like that though. Like you
yeah.
can't win with people like that. That's just straight up bullying. That it doesn't matter. That's just straight up bullying. So, um,
Yep. And I don't do well with bullies, and I will like probably, and I have to watch myself, especially with these new guidelines. But like those are ones where I turn vicious against the bullies, because I'm so tired of it, and I'm so tired of witnessing people get that way with other people, that I felt the need to stand my ground with that one specifically. Because if he's doing that to me, guaranteed he goes and does it to somebody that doesn't have as thick of skin, or doesn't have as solid confidence in themselves, their body image, all of the things. You know, like I had gotten to a point with my self esteem where I lost the weight. I'm happy with how I look like, you know, like I'm good.
yeah.
Mentally, I can go off screen and be okay, but we don't know what's happening in the chat. We don't know what happens to the next girl that gets that. So I felt the need to stand the ground and be like, no, 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 that's so not cool. Like, that's not okay. And I'm sure you did the same with him on that front too, because that's, we can't allow the bullies to win on here. And I feel like too often they do, or they get something from it, or they get, you know, they go right to top rankings because they're just being toxic. And that's where I think the new guidelines are going to be good for the creators that want to stay positive and build positivity type streams. And I think that's the beauty of the next phase of TikTok anyways. Well, let me thank everybody real quick.
Yeah.
MVP.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Kathy. MVP Neil, guys. MVP Neil in the chat. I appreciate you so much. And thank you guys for tapping too. Okay.
So it's almost like you have to stand your ground sometimes with those types, and hopefully they don't win, but too often here they financially win. It did not work in his favor. Hopefully.
That's right, Neil. You cannot abolish hate with hate. Absolutely. You
right.
can't fight fire with fire.
That's why we don't go on and talk Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So this is gonna be the last segment, guys. It's called Toxic Questions. Okay. Whoever it's like 500 quiet game, right? Where once one team hits 500 points, their chat gets to ask the other person any question and every question that they want. We can do as many as you want. We can do one if you want. It doesn't matter. So here's toxic questions, guys. After 500 points, that chat gets to ask the other person any question that they want to ask. So let's get it.
Keep the chat moving with questions.
Let's get it.
Let's get those questions moving.
She also has 8 wins, guys.
Nice. Do we play team?
She has 8 wins.
Thank you, Sassy. I appreciate that. I think a lot of people, their first interaction with me, they see me and they viscerally hate me at first, often. So thank you guys for listening and getting to know me a little bit better.
Well, I don't know why. You're so likable. You're literally so likable.
Thank you.
Do not.
It's usually the guys that just.
Do not take any of these questions personally. You can politely like decline or say I've never done that or whatever. It doesn't matter. So, ask her about Heartland and what he said about her.
I don't know what they're referring to. I think they've tried to make it out that Heartland and I dated. No, never dated.
So somebody's wondering.
I've only had positive interactions with them on stream. Never met them in person.
Okay. Yeah, guys, she's never met him in person. Okay. Yeah. Why did Heartland say that you guys hooked up on Christmas Eve?
So a lot of this is like, I don't think he even said that. Like, I truly don't.
So some people are saying Heartland said that, and some people are saying Missy said that.
Yeah, so either side, I've talked to Missy on screen about it too. She's like, oh, they make up some stuff sometimes, and then it spirals from there, which is why I always say, like, guys, careful with the sarcasm in the chat, because it does spiral very quickly, and then ripples out into. So, as much as we love to be sarcastic and joke in the chat, let's not start
Yeah.
rumors.
Yeah, no, it's literally it
Yeah.
spreads like wildfire. I know, yeah, right. Okay. Okay, guys, more questions. Put any question in the chat, guys. Any question in the chat. Somebody said they screen recorded Missy saying it.
Hmm. I'm not like when it comes to that topic, let's just not even because I honestly I don't
Yeah.
think it was. They tried to do that to me and Eric Mack last night too. Like sometimes they make things up. It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah. Okay, guys, she's never met Heartland, guys. Ask about Nick to Fits. Oh, guys, we have to be up to ask questions. We have to be
I
up
don't know
to.
who Nick Dufit. I don't even know Nick Dufit. Is we have a question for Sarah. They're asking your favorite food. They're keeping it fairly
Sushi.
less toxic. We have a
Veggie
question
sushi.
for Sarah. Sushi. Wow. Oh, everything's been on the go. Thank you, African Night, for dropping that. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the galaxy. Thank you for this little yacht. Any other questions for Sarah? Here. Questions for Sarah. We're up, so we get to ask. I found out I was allergic to sushi on a blind date. It's tragic. Tragic.
You're allergic? Oh yeah, to shellfish? Is that what you said? Allergic to shellfish?
Shellfish and sushi, or just like fish in general.
That's so sad.
That's hilarious. Yes, Stephen, in my bio. Um, what's your favorite number and why?
My favorite number is 13 because I was born on the 13th.
Okay, okay. What's your sign?
Capricorn.
Okay.
Does that mean something about me?
No, it's usually Capricorns are like very logical, very like we have a plan, we're sticking to like methodical. They're methodical and practical.
Here we are. Here's my scheduled
Find
interview
that-
with you. So
Yeah, totally. I love it. Do you think that impacts your dating life? And does this impact your dating life?
yeah, I think not being going out into the wild impacts my dating life. You know, like just talking to people on the screen all the time, opposed to it in real life more impacts my dating life. I don't like online dating, so
Yeah, it's tragic. Trust me. I'm on the dating apps, and you're not missing much. What's your favorite restaurant?
mm,
They're really not good at being toxic over here.
I know I can see that. That's a hard one. Um,
What's your 5-year goal? Would be the other question that just came up.
5-year
Like, what's your
goal.
goal?
I want to be famous, darling.
Showbiz, baby. Let's go.
Yes.
Love that.
Yeah. Guys, I think she's gonna get a 9-piece on our head, guys. Yeah. She just got a 9-win streak on our head, guys. MVP Jennifer, thank you, Adam, all the tappers. I appreciate it.
African Night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. I'm gonna tap my face. Thank you. Thank you guys for playing. I hope you guys all enjoyed these conversations too in the chat. This
This
is
was
cool.
really fun. We can keep going if you want to. If you don't want to, it's okay. So, yeah.
Totally up to you guys. Want to bring in a 2v2? Really cause some chaos. See who's on and ask them. We could take one of those. I think the question around dating is always interesting to me. Like, do we date streamers? That was last night's drama. It was I got stood up for a date last night, and they were trying to speculate that it was a streamer. It wasn't. It wasn't. I'm going to dinner with a bunch of streamers tonight. It's friendly. But I think because of our lifestyle here.
What happened?
Huh?
Why do you think you got
They
stood
were
up?
just having like a busy day and they were too busy. And I'm like, I'm literally taking off a night on live stream where like they don't, so that got weird. But they were just like overwhelmed with their day having it and they just like couldn't deal. But that's it again. It goes back to the emotional intelligence. Like very few people can't have the awareness and the insulation to be able to go, I had that interaction here. I'm not going to let it decimate the rest of my interactions for the day. Yeah. And we just have to stay graceful, knowing that that's how people are. Oh, good.
Well, Gabby, thank you so much for doing this interview. I really appreciate you for like going out of your
Thank
way to do
you.
this. So it means a
Of
lot.
course, this has been fun.
I mean, it
Of
really
course.
does
Thank you
mean
for
a lot
having
to me.
me.
I will
I
say,
love this. I love what you're doing.
I on Reddit, I always do my due diligence with research and everything. I just trying to think of questions, right, about about people. Um, there was
Yeah.
somebody on Reddit that said a disgusting thing that I literally it blew my mind. They said that you're not a girl's girl, and I just completely disagree with that. You are literally like you're the definition of a girl's girl. Like I don't know how to make that any clearer, but so like thank you
Thank
for
you.
going out of your way
I don't
to
even know
say
why they
you're
would get
a
that
girl.
perception.
Yeah, no, people are just gonna be
Thank
mean.
you.
So, but yeah,
Yeah, I don't even touch Reddit. I don't look at Reddit. I don't look at any of that. Yeah, they tell me a lot of things from Reddit that I'm like,
yeah. I just look at
don't
it
believe
literally just to like think, spark my creativity. I'm not out here to
for
like
sure.
get people. I just
Or
want to
give
like,
you awareness of the situations you're walking into when you're interviewing people. That's just you being a reporter and an interviewer and the journalist, if you will.
exactly. Okay, well,
Wants in?
girl, thank you. What'd you say? Sorry.
Brock wants in. Do you want to battle 2v2?
I think I'm gonna be done for tonight because I
Fair enough.
do have more interviews to work on, and I want to like work on the
Yeah.
questions.
I love that you're doing this. Stay at it. Keep at it. I'm here if you need me. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.